Tampa Community Development Area Community Advisory Committee on May 25th, 5:30, but it's about 5:40 now. At Martin King Community Center at 2200 North Oregon Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33607. I want to thank everybody. It's hot outside. I want to thank everybody for showing up. And we're going to have a short agenda. I'm happy to institute the 5 and rules so we can get out of here on time. But it wasn't going to be a long. Actually, well, they want to council meeting. I said, no, we continue to have a meeting so that we can look at questions about other things, major items. And with that, I'm going to welcome everyone. I'm going to open up with public comment. Do you have anyone online? Yeah, that would be nice. Roll call.
As I call your name, you're going to say here. Joe Robinson.
Here.
Carlos Rivera. Michael Brasco.
Here.
Sandy Sanchez. Janice Williams. Here. Bobby Wilson. Just in time. Okay. Carlos Rivera. Here. Sandy Sanchez. Here. Okay. Bobby Wilson. Okay. Jeanette Larissa Fenton. Here. Cynthia Maloney. Here. Delphine Jones. Here. Tina Young. Here. And David Malone. Okay. Chair, do you have a forum?
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to get to look at the April 18th council meeting? Still out. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Next is presentations. Tampa Center. Oh, did I skip over? I'm sorry. I get the Okay, we have public comment. We'll just give you 3 minutes to comment. And if there's anyone in the public that wants to comment, please give your name. If you sign this, you can contact that over. And you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Dan Mathis Jr. Actually, just a brief bit about me. I grew up in West Tampa off of Arch Street, familiar with West Tampa, and still have my mother's and grandmother's properties there. And grew up playing in this area and learned how to swim in this pool right back here. Lived and worked in the area, retired from University after a career, also graduate in university, and currently I've been in public safety and weapon protection space for work, and that's what I do. The reason I'm here is to tell you about an organization that a lot of people from my era, I graduated from Plant High School in 1984, and we were at a buddy's mother's funeral not too long ago, and everybody came back to the funeral. And so someone said, why don't we get together? Why is it always something like this when we come home? And so that's what the idea for Main Street Homecoming came to fruition. So myself and a couple of my childhood friends and colleagues formed the organization Main Street Homecoming.org. And this year, July 12th, we're welcoming everybody back to West Tampa to Main Street, and we're going to culminate in McFarland Park for just a gathering and seeing old friends. And then we're going to have an evening presentation at venue 2106 on Main Street, which is a location there. So I came here, one, to introduce myself, introduce the concept idea. I spoke with Mr. McCray. He said, well, you're right on time because you should come and introduce yourself to this committee. Moving forward, I'd like to get involved in this committee and get back to this position. So, moving forward, whatever way you participate with this committee, we'd like to do that. We'd like to be one of the go-to organizations as far as community involvement. You guys are probably familiar with my fraternity members. I'm also a member of the CAC Incorporated and a member of the local Tampa CAC. We're heavily engaged in the community, but when it comes specifically to West Tampa, we would like to be the organization to help facilitate volunteer in anything West Tampa or Main Street. Any questions?
Could you give us your name again?
Dan Mathis, and Judge Mathis.
HIS?
M-A-T-H-I-S. Shoot.
Junior. And then, what address for your organization?
Main Street Homecoming.org.
M-A-S-T?
Yeah, spelled out.
Oh, okay.
Spelled out, yes. July 12th. Yes. No, we're play ball. We're playing ball during the day, and then the league 2106 West Main Street that evening.
Okay, because they're having a big event July 12th as well, is my understanding.
That's one and the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yours is earlier in the day and the other is going to be later?
It's together, we initially submitted a permit to the city to be able to close the street, and so we moved away from that to just have this kickoff. That's within reasonable control.
So the 2026 not closed?
Not close enough. Not close enough. No. Yes, ma'am.
So was this range city homecoming about where we be all in
Yes.
the time and if you have any concerns, you can also listen to it?
Yes. There's contact information, and I will give you my personal cell phone number, 813-505-9302. Like I tell my colleagues, constituents, my phone will always on. Great question.
Thank you, you do have,
Thank you.
because I know that the big men do have, work with just you when it comes back. That's good for me to say.
Yeah. Our goal is this year we're actually doing, I want to under promise and over deliver, but we're working on about 200 backpacks for back to school giveaway at the park.
All right.
Oh, my.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Very much. All right, anyone else have a public comment? 3 minutes. Yeah.
I'm one of the leaders that I was
Community garden right over there. Have you guys been there? Oh, you can come after me. It's beautiful right now. Okay, so we came a few months ago in the very beginning stages, you all remember us. So a lot has grown since then. The garden is beautiful. It's becoming, it's becoming what we wanted it to, but we still want more community involved. So, we want to spread the word. I think that gentleman will be great for us to partner with. But we've got a couple of really interesting events coming up. Another nonprofit called the Mission Continues has partnered with MLK and West Tampa Grove Healthy, and they're deploying, they pick one city every single year, and they deploy 150 to 200 veterans to come in and do a day of service. And so this is happening on June 22nd. They're coming and they're going to be doing multiple projects in the garden. They're putting a kids area. They're doing a garden, which eventually there will be a market here, so members of the community can buy and sell wine produce at very low rewarding. Or maybe even for free. What else do they do? A mural. And we actually want it all in our neighborhood because we want this mural to represent West Tampa and Washington Garden. So we're open to, suggestions on that and the process of drawing that up. Another, yeah, what do you think?
No, what they think is important. To be
Exactly. And this event itself is going to be open to the public. They're going to have DJs, they're going to have catered food, like there's going to be dancing, and it's going to be a really fun day. So we'd like to get as much of the community involved, not only in that event, but at the garden in general. It's just a very peaceful, healing space. And everyone wants to do so. What else?
We also wanted to speak about the make a children's program. We're gonna work with them, okay, so that way the kids can come and learn about gardening, about harvesting, just things that deal with gardening and one, being able to get food from the garden. So we think that's really important. And doing like, little projects.
There's a lot. I got mural at Great Park, the mural at Cecila's Park. Those two existing, yeah, Miss Jones right there, she's in the same day. Like, tap those two guys.
The other thing I would suggest is talk to Corey Robinson at the city. We just did a search for girls with the street and also for rapid, what it was called, Sanchez worked on the electrical boxes. So we have a list of artists and we have a bunch of designs and what we do, all that. And talk to Corey, share that information with you, and we can get a lot of use.
If you ladies sign in, I'll get you Corey's information.
Thank you.
It would be great to have an emphasis on the West Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
Not always been well represented in the bureaus.
Oh, yes.
Many that could be depicted, and especially in the garden, that's typically what a lot of women do.
Right. And Jackie just won an award recently too.
I won an award for resident at Tampa.
Are you guys going to bring the garden for the summer? For kids and everything?
Yep, our kids program.
Will be starting.
Give everybody there. I have the Northern Coordinator here that was once again also supporting the coalition for the arts. And for the summer, there is creating a wonderful children program from the month of June. We can take Thursday, 10 to 12. We go to a whole month of summer on seeds. And hopefully, get a little bit of artists. And see what that takes to keep it on. Ages, I believe we're working with, I got what I think we're like,
Almost like 5, 6, 7.
yeah, 5 to 7.
And the other thing too is we're talking with Tampa Housing Authority because they're part of their partners here at the North Center. We're going to be doing this program ongoing for, not only just for the month of June, but for the whole summer and then, every fall and every spring. So, any advice or support that you might have?
It seems to be the best type of super. Is there any way we can get more information so we can spread the word?
Yes. What would you like information on? Okay, perfect. To this specific. Okay.
I just wanted, can I say something? I just wanted to thank the coalition of community gardens, Nate in particular, but you ladies as well, because you've also helped us at Dunbar Elementary. So it's been really a blessing that y'all have been helping there, and Nate is great with kids, and I'm sure he'll run a wonderful class over the summer. And so I would recommend everybody who knows any kids, who benefit from it, feel comfortable sending them to me. He's a great teacher, and he's done a really good job at Dunbar, and we're so grateful for the support and the contributions from all of you guys.
We also do have monthly workshops at the end of last Saturday of every month. This month, one of our party workshops, she's been leading it, our goals to it, so we got to kind of get good class, it's not just garden one, it's just start. So I think that's the case, we have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, and again, everybody's welcome to garden. That's the thing about gardening. It doesn't matter if it's black thumb, brown thumb, green thumb, we're all family there. So again, it's the community aspect as much as it is the health aspect. So we want everybody to come. I want this to be like a public.
Coming here and, like the census says, it's very, unknown. People are really assistance, really good needs, and one of the things that always get in the head with that, they struggle. They want to see the children. And so this is an event that really great. It deals with the gardening, it deals with our food desert, they do the food desert, and also it deals with community building. And you guys have not come to us and asked for one dime. let's make sure Brenda has your information, so that make sure you send Brenda as well, so she can distribute it to us and then all of our people that are on our mailing list.
And if you would like, I would meet, even if we could do it.
Yeah.
If you have time.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is anyone else for Jones?
We like to be on that.
Okay, is anyone else for public comment? 3 minutes? Going once, going twice. Okay, let's move into the agenda and presentation. Tampa Sheriff Communications Support, Jack Smith, HCP Associates. All right. 5 minutes.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jack Smith. I'm a communication manager at Research Analyst at HCP Associates. We are now the communications firm of record for the Tampa CRA through the end of the year. Record is promising at this point. And I'm here to talk today about some of the services that we have done with the CRA in the past and what we'll be doing at the end of the year. Maybe I can help contribute to some of the content we're sharing, particularly on social media. Quick rundown of HCP for those who are aware. We are a boutique consulting firm located in the Channel District. We've been serving the Tampa Bay area since 1986. We do work with government and economic development for a variety of different entities here in the Tampa Bay region. Just as a quick list of some of them. Kind of associated with some of the stuff that we do for the CRA. Particularly the city of Tampa, we do work with them, with our county. Recently, we started working with the Barstow CRA over in Polk County, the West Shore Alliance, and the National Partnership. So our contract with the City CRA in the past was obviously a lot different, different changes in statutory requirements here in Florida. So in the past, we did things like PR communications, social media management, further communications, research, like our e-voicing resident workers that we do every other year. We did kind of a more formalized video series in the past, kind of highlighting some of the redevelopment efforts in that district. Recently, we've done more short-form video on social media. That's something we're looking to pick up again, starting this summer more. And then also different district campaigns. So if you remember the Heart of Tampa campaign, I don't think that HCP did for Equal City at that time. However, you probably all aware the changes to the statute have obviously limited what CRA is going to be able to talk about a little bit later in terms of communications. So we have done some work with the CRA. So last month I know that you all received a copy of the report. We helped design and write the copy associated with that, so we helped the CRA with that. And additionally, our social media channels, we help consolidate that and move those away from Equal City specifically to Tampa CRA Live. And we still recommend those platforms. And then throughout this year, we have a lot of things that we are doing, some things that are coming up soon. We continue to manage the social media for Tampa CRA. We are putting out a quarterly CRA newsletter, the first one scheduled to come out in June. We're working with Brenda right now on getting that finalized. We'll be doing some more short-form video content creation that's both CRA wide and different specific. So obviously there's going to be opportunities to let cameras to do some stuff. Community newsletters are just doing a little bit more quick form and consistent. And there's other opportunities that we'll have as we need them. Now, sharing information, again, this is really dictated toward social media, but it does go to all the other kind of media that we would do. Typically on social media, that list is what we provide and share on our channels. So this is the original content that we're publishing. Those include meeting reminders, the PA meetings, we publish that weekly. When there is a meeting, holidays and office closures, information sharing for this ranges from news articles that talk about the CRA, project updates, grants, housing, things like that are offered to the CRA. Ribbon cutting ceremonies, community sentiment surveys when they're happening, and then any other requests for proposals, so like the West Tampa talk, and the 3 girls who were sharing out on social and trying to reach out to their regards through that way. And I did want to know that in the box, I did the presentation in your packet. That is Florida statute, the CRA is allowed to disseminate one clearance and community development information. So it's kind of broad, but it's also very curtailed to we can only share information. So an example I'll share is like, if there is an event that is closing a street in West Tampa, we can share kind of that, hey, it's happening, there's a street closure, but we cannot directly promote that one. Right? We can't say, hey, we want you to come to this, you know, this. We can share their plan information, we can reshare it, and push it out that way. We are limited in our ability to overall communicate kind of that promotional aspect that needs to be done now. That's just the way that the statute has it, and that's how the lawyers interpret it. That's not a decision I can have a decision overall. Now, in this case, so there are still opportunities for us to share information that's going on in the community. And the way that we would like, if there is information that you want to be shared through the CRA social media channels, what we ask is that you send that information to your manager. So in this case, Brenda, they will approve that, whoever that may be, and then we will post it. What we do ask is that when you're sending this information, you know, you do the basics, name the event, the meeting taking place, the date and time it's happening, any images of posters or materials that access associated with that event, and then any other important information that needs to be addressed in that post. And then I do have a little requirement, you may want to pass updated with the social media information. So you just want to take it. So on the one page, I have a social channel. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then also give the website, phone number, and then you scan the QR code, take you to the homepage of the CRA, and there you can scroll down to the news releases. That is an individual version of the quarterly newsletter that we're putting out into the communication that we would. You should only find them for general policy discussion. That's the way you can find it. I know that was kind of brief, but are there any questions that I can address right now?
I just want to clarify, so we're going to have CRA-wide newsletter, but then we're going to have CRA-specific newsletters as well?
So when I'm going to do a series of newsletters, we're making sure that every redevelopment area is part of each newsletter, so there's going to be one or two bits of news that will be related to community redevelopment. Look at it, and it's also even part of the mentioned, and anything else that applies to any policy or later. Do you have a question on that? No.
How are we supposed to put out information about events that we want to promote? If we have an event, we generally don't, but should we ever have an event? For example, to invite people to this garden, you can do a lot of fun things, but how can we get that information out? Not through you, right?
So one way that I would say, and again, Brenda, you can stop me whenever, if a post is made by a community or whatever that may be, we can reshare through our channel. Again, we are just disseminating that information first. Now again, that's what we can do for a but for that is one way to get it out to another set of boards. But that's, again, unfortunately, there is a limitation that the same here is a limitation.
The state should pay their contract.
Yeah.
If they're dictating the terms of it, they should be paying it. Just say.
No, we can have a conversation all day about big changes, but no,
Yeah, we take it on a case-by-case basis. Normally, the way it's working in the past, policy, we call it, is that if the district-wide event is close to the street, causing more than one business, it's a community event. And we share it. We're disseminating information, not creating a post, we're not doing that. So we pretty much send it my way, and anything we can do, we'll do, because, you know, we've got social that's great that we can share on. The community of Coalition of Community Gardens has an event on the 22nd. Send it our way, we can just share it.
Yeah.
And we'll share your stuff. And what we ask is you tag us and we tag you. So you see that? That's really helpful because there's to
tagging is so simple to do. And when you do that, you're able to do, get it on that person's Twitter. It's like,
Yeah, no, yeah, the tagging is like really the best thing you can do, and I'll make sure I can do all this at first.
Collaborate,
We only, in this case, I would only tag. Yeah, you can email information, right?
Email for me, yeah, so I'm kind of conduit because it's a public award here, and, you talk to each other outside the meeting, so I'll be here to something.
But, and I will say, like, for some classes, if you do not tag it, we cannot reshare it. Instagram has that limitation, that like, if we're not tagged, we can reshare that information, we have to make, look like a unique about it.
Correct.
Facebook is a little bit easier, but it just makes it more.
I got a question. We had talked a lot about educating residents here in West Tampa about the alley cleanups. I think the good way to use social media to help educate folks, like around the alley cleanups, and like virtually, you go prior to pick up Instagram, Facebook, and whatever, more quickly than most of
Yeah, no, that's a call. But no, then that one would be perfectly good to share, right? Like, if you know, that's community redevelopment program, the alley stuff, specifically talking to your person. So that is something that we can not only just reshare, but also maybe.
Very good at it.
The most important thing is to get residents and all of your groups that y'all are representing to sign up for the newsletter. That who are here, people need to sign up, because right now, we have about 10,000 people.
I'm not sure about
So what we did is we took the equal one and we rolled it for a long time. We migrated it, and then it comes down to the right, so we have all those followers. Now we need to make sure we have more followers, because that's how they're going to connect to the information. So if they're not, send it on the social, but if they're not paying attention to our social, they're not following us, then they're not gonna get it.
Yeah, it's more like multiple ways, like flyers, social media, different ways.
Yep.
And we'll get those little cards out, telling you more for your meetings or schedules, and those, electronically, so you have them as well.
Want to follow up?
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about the consolidation and not having an individual West Tampa newsletter. And I think you hit it on the head. A lot of us of a certain generation aren't always really plugged into social media.
Yeah.
So we get a newsletter, and unfortunately, not everybody's interested in all the other CRAs. There are people that are just interested in West Tampa. To wade through everything else, then we're gonna lose eyeballs, which is hard to get people to focus anyway. I'm trying to understand the reason why we can't have, I mean, if the CRA newsletter is wide and great, but why we can't also have a West Tampa focus newsletter.
But I was going to add that, even with that understanding, you can still have a comprehensive newsletter that is broken down into segments, right?
Oh, yeah. But the people, how people are, it's hard enough to get them to read 5 sentences and, figure it out by the time they get to what's in there.
And how many people
Yeah.
So it's right now, this is not a fully approved business, and I'm just as a visual. This is kind of the template. So it's a 4-page newsletter to be front and back, it's going to be professionally printed. It's going to have a main story that's kind of around, as of right now, it's West Tampa, it's front story and stuff. And then there may be areas, right, they're going to be getting something. Additionally, one other thing that we are looking at, or at least I know I would like to look at more, is at least the newsletter stuff, be able to segment that out the specific area for that reason. So right, so we may be able to send out, we may have this as the main printed one, will be kind of community centers and other like area locations, but then also on the digital side, we can create more that are just focused on what's happening in West End, what's happening through Park, East Hampton, Newport, et cetera. And that people then, in the sign-up process, someone will be able to select which areas that they would like to see used. So like everything is opted automatically to the digital version of it. But then they also can follow it up with, again, every so often, a couple of stories here and there, straight from here and basically repackaging it different. You know, right, we just got the go ahead in May, so, you know, there's still some ironing out over this, but I would say we're right now, but so I think we really hit the ground running on all of these formats, right? From what we have heard, we were working with people cities for 20 years. So we have various food systems going by the time we were transitioning, but obviously there was a rough patch at the start of that shit, you know, getting these communication channels opened up and getting eyes here.
Yeah, I think how we're gonna like this. I know it seems like you're getting lost in the big kind of CRA frame, but you're not. You're gonna see it's gonna be very high pitch. You're gonna see activity. You're gonna see progress going on in West Tampa, but you also know what's going on here. It's not gonna be something that you're gonna be forward reading, and it's got legs. So the newsletter is just one conduit of information.
Can I just ask a question? Like, what is the purpose of it? Is it to highlight accomplishments, or is it to inform people about things that are happening now?
I think it makes it both at times, you know, where I don't think that those are necessarily separate entities in the communication world. Celebrating successes, like what's going on, is what happens in the park, and what's going to happen with our break in August. With that, additionally, there is always an educational component about what's in the zero, because I think you all are very well tuned, but so many people are not. People don't know where the boundaries for the West Campus Zero are. Additionally, like West Campus Low Zero is one of the prominent kind of big icons that people catch your eye, water tower on that side of the mountain. And so it's trying to get people familiar with the area. And so, you know, I think that's the process, right? It's almost just stepping back and trying to see what can all this communication stuff do. And I'm a very big advocate of it, right? I'm a very good advocate of education. You know, it's almost we have to recognize a lot of people are not tuned in. I live in the North of the CRA boundary, and so many people don't know where to begin, where they end, and all of that stuff. And so I think it's kind of it's going to be difficult, I think, especially for the first year in the business, just to know. I think, you know, I think a lot of this for me, it's going to go highly into the success stories, but also very much some people have day-to-day stuff that if they're walking by, they even sign stuff out, they still know that it's the CRA product.
So what would be the strategy to draw attention to specific accomplishments or success stories, which is not typical of your normal newsletter, news, landing stories?
You know, so the good rate, little tactics, there's the kind of call out boxes like brands, it's something right. We have under the user that we have a front door right now, it's about Tampa, something else that we want to really get out in the community, maybe related, maybe doing a call out box, and all those things like that. It's also, you know, one of the things with that component is making sure our information is in the community group, right? I mean, this is one of those in the community, there's obviously different neighborhoods that exist that are also important to helping parents, right? Like I think it's a bottom-up approach and everything. So, I think, you know, and that's also the part of the report, right?
Yeah, so the thing about doing the newsletter is to report quarterly, and then every year we do an annual report. So guess what? Just have all your information all along once your annual report. So it's all about, you know, doing good things and reporting good things. And the CRA doesn't lie with things. In fact, that's the thing we all probably the most active CRA right now than any of them. So I never have a problem with content from West Tampa. I don't think you can all hold it, but what we're doing is trying to say, what's making progress, what's happening in the district, just so people know what's happening, and what the role of CRA. Y'all know we went through a very tough legislative session. It's still quite not over, but I think it's over for us. We survived this season. So what do they ask for? The FRA? Give me something positive. We could give them now newsletters. We could give them all the good work that we're doing with our tip dollars for the community. So there's a lot of ways people like
Great. One of the reasons he's here is because there was nothing happening at Tampa CRA as far as communication, as far as that trying to do the speed got busy, she got I'm going to say that, a consistent information about what we're doing over here. I have all the time, what's the CRA? But really don't know. I mean, these are people that don't know what's going on, but they don't know. They have a lot of new people coming in. So it's necessary to have them. You know, yes, we're piggybacking with them because they were equal, but they don't be all other people. And I right, Ms. Brenda? Okay, Ms. Brenda, tell us.
Yes, well,
Okay.
as long as the area board approves it, we hope they will. They like the model. We will be working on that RFP this summer. Because in 6 months, we have nothing.
So I just want you to be aware that we will be looking at the RFP, you know, we might have some input to it. So I just want to, but this is like, really responding to get us something now because we needed something out there and something that probably was compliant with statute. Okay, these people are experts on compliant with statute. So the other thing I would suggest is anytime we have a meeting or anything, we provide that QR code so we tell everybody, hey, stop the meeting, put your phone line. Will everybody get that QR code? That's the other way to do it. We just drive to that QR code. And the final thing I'd say is that this is all we're going to talk with the newsletter and all that, but will that be on our webpage on the city?
Yeah.
It'll be on the West Tampa webpage?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, because they're not coming right now. So, okay, so with that said, we're going to okay?
Thank you.
And don't make it so late to come back and let us know. So what do we expect to see? That is online in the box.
We are hoping, the intention right now is for them to the area board June meeting. After that, they should be here for your June meeting. Again, I don't know the exact date. Yeah, so after the June 12th meeting, it'll be up online, there'll be digital version out, and there will be printed version ready after that. That'll be the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is, yes, Mrs. Sweeney.
Yeah, do you know what happened to the other company that was supposed to be doing newsletters or West Tampa CRA, whatever happened?
Never had,
Yeah, we did.
there was some contract, to my knowledge.
So, you mean the first initial one that they did? So, yeah, that went, so that contract ended and they never really, when I say they, the CRA, then brought the position, like my position into play to then oversee everything. And I did write an article, the RFP is coming back again, but I did write a very false RFP that covered everyone, because that was the direction that had been covered. But that was, it didn't go back out to
Right, so I think they did like two newsletters. if I'm not
yeah, they did.
mistaken. And then
But there was some stuff that they had issues, like at the time that he had to make some corrections on his own to the newsletter, so he provided that feedback, so we were just, then at that point, when they were going to go back to individual, CACs, and it turned into, let's all be grouped together into one RFP to disseminate information to everyone.
So it's coming back to life, so let's move on. We're talking about the past, let's talk about the future. Okay, all right, move right along, let's talk about strategic acquisition for affordable housing. 1712 North Hallway, this big property housing. You up for the
I can introduce that, and these here will kind of handle this. So an opportunity has come forward to our real estate department to purchase this house with us. Corner of Union and Alvin, which I learned recently, when I looked at a platform, those streets were meaning something different in the past. They were Francis and opportunity to add to it with historic preservation guidance, another unit to it. So you can maybe try that. It's in a very, actually, you know the location very well. It's across from the school over here. It's blocked from the car. It's obviously stands out in the architecture. It's historic. It's a contributing structure to the West Tampa Historic District. Because you don't have a local district right now. There's nothing protecting this house. But anyway, I'm bringing y'all the opportunity. If you think it's a good idea to purchase it, we will move forward to do it. There's a motion, there's a request here, we need a motion up to $480,000 to do that. I think we can come in lower than that a little bit, but that's where they negotiated, somewhere in that ballpark. And I just want to know what you think about it. And we have another two. I'm going to defer.
This is from Maloney, this is President, and Mr. Alonso.
What's the lot size in the current zoning and the current?
It's right there. It's right there. I can't see anything. I mean, let's go through that. It's in this very, it is built in 1906, okay? The lot, the structure, the actual structure is 2,800, a little over 2,800 square feet, that's gross. Even if it's a little bit shorter, less than that. It's 5,700 square foot lot. It's a nice size lot, it's a nice clean lot. So, in the back of the lot, and I'm sorry, I don't have a picture of it, but there's parking, a driveway in the back, and then there's a lot next to it, owned by Mr. Martin. And he's doing a project, we want to change and something there. But we don't know if he was willing to sell that lot, we can look at it, obviously we can look at that. The zoning is RS16, it's actually, it uses a multi-family residential, and it's less than 10 units, so you can negotiate it. And that's why it's less right now. You think, I mean, clearly it's a single family home, okay? But there is two entrances, you see right here? Y'all probably heard about this a million times. There's two entrances, so one is to the first story, that's one unit, and then the second one goes to the upstairs. Now, right now, if I actually walk inside the home, there is walls after it's been removed, so one family's in there right now, but it needs to be a duplex, like it's Burlington, all of them.
Do you plan to preliminary position where it costs to make it happen or renovate it?
I was at the bar, my
So, at the moment, I will be completely honest that I'm in the process of getting the figures, because I've been doing a lot of looking for different projects in West Tampa, and I'm excited for next month. Anyway, but, I don't have those figures at the moment, because we're gonna look at a couple of different options for it, like, renovation is probably, if it can stay the same, or, our conversation with historic preservation, and just see if we can get, that in that third unit. Again, these are not, I haven't decided yet whether the preference of the world will be at that point, whether these will be for home ownership, affordable home ownership, or rental, it could go either way. It just depends on, and it's not a lot of repairs needing existing to the level. With the addition to the back, that's probably more costly or whatnot. But again, we're trying to aggressively look for affordable housing. And sorry, I came from walking property, so I'm very
If you said this is a affordable, right? And it's less than 10 units?
Yeah, less than 10 units.
Well, then,
So most likely you cannot be on ownership.
There's an option, I mean, that won't be the first option I make for that, but I don't want to leave it off the table, means that a lot of preference of the community is to make sure that there's home ownership option, but home ownership is not for everyone.
No, I'm just saying, looking at All those things I think has to be figured out before we can think about purchasing. We don't want to purchase anything. Don't have to try to figure that is that the other part.
You're absolutely right, but, historically, we've been in the back end of purchasing stuff, and now we're facing a situation that a lot of people that have affordable in their area because they're not working at that time. But we could, one of the proposals that I'm kind of looking at is, to rezone it, to have a different, a different capacity of a set of homes, but again, we have to have those conversations right now. We're just trying to acquire it because it's first of all, they negotiate it before I can get to this position, and I'm just trying to move it forward. Either way, the way that we do business in CRA is the way we dispose of it towards the community. We have to go through some type of education with it, or send it out for developers and visitors. So either way, it would be a win-win. It would be something that we just, it won't be affordable, we still get.
Do you have the first right of the reason process?
Yes, we will have it.
Okay, that is wrong.
Yep.
Let's bring it in the Sanchez.
David,
Bring it in the Sanchez. This is up to you.
I'm a little concerned about the fuzziness of not knowing potential cost of renovation and what exactly we're dealing with. I'm also concerned, I don't know, do we have comparables? I mean, it seems like a good pricing. I hate to put you on the spot, David, and Mike, that as our real estate people, I'd like to hear your opinions on the sale, in addition to yours, Pete. But,
Yes, we do have comments that answer your question. And yes, it has.
there were already appraisals done.
I can make that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, based on what I know about the West Tampa market, but I'd like to see it.
And there's another thing, this is not just an affordable housing project, this is a historic preservation project.
Well, and the other thing was, I was gonna ask is how we're going to then put it out in the market. Whatever do a typical RFP.
Correct. Invitation to, that's how we put it out. That's the new way of purchasing the apartment is to do what is called an invitation to the nonprofit or for-profit developers to finish the repairs on the scope that we come up with. And I'm not saying if we're getting an expert to put that scope together, that is the well, and then that's where we upload it into OpenGov, where it's sent out to everyone. So it's not just me picking who to send it out, it's sent out through the beginning of I upload it to Champion and start developing, and then they go ahead and do it.
And then another entity would be the alternate
Yes.
management,
Yes,
of the property.
of the property. So, just some background on a couple of, like, the process of it, right? So, of course, this is for low to moderate income buyers. What is considered to be low to moderate income buyer in today's present day is 80% area median income up to 140% area median income. As of right now, a household of one can make up to $100,000 in participation program. Again, I also work with the lenders and the different finance companies who do it for homeownership because off the rip, I know how how they can underwrite that. You know that as buyer, you want to make sure that an 80% person that makes 60K can afford it. So you kind of just start, you have a problem. Fifth grade, you have a problem. Let's all team up, see which one has a better offer. But in this case, this is what the CRA's area median income can go up to 140% AMI because this is no longer a four-person issue for housing. This is not a workforce issue. People have regular jobs, city jobs cannot afford it within city limits. So it does give a little room for the median income. And how I work that with the developers is that I do put in a requisite that we work with the local housing agency that whole list of individuals who are overcoming because families that have went through some type of financial counseling, credit counseling, to prep for homeownership, or just to prep for affordability. So they hold two pots of people that are prepped for homeownership and they're also prepped to start renting. So it's having that written out for the agencies to make sure that those developers work with them to get the people that are in homeownership. So again, the video forces, okay, once that end developer gets it, they have to make sure they work with them so they can sell the product, just out or, market it per se. So the more than likely.
Mrs. Sanders, can you go to
Well, I just, again, back to my first from David, not to put you on the spot.
You can't do that.
One case,
Don't let other people come, we'll go back.
and then you speak to
We'll
the
come back.
Okay, that's fine.
We don't keep on like this. Mrs. Sanders.
I think we're looking at it wrong. I think we need to look at the fact that it's part of the business district of West Tampa. I think the very worst that can happen is when the big West Tampa Information Center. There's lots of things that can be done with that property without destroying the house. So I think it's important that we acquire it because it's part of the business district. It can be incorporated in whatever happens in Free Park. It's more of a question of you're buying, and I hate to say this, Mike, you're buying the dirt. It happens to come with a historic building, which is to our benefit. And like I said, we don't necessarily have to just look at it as affordable housing. It has other potential that we need to look at. Like I said, who knows, maybe we'll end up getting a coffee shop downstairs and something else. But the potential for buying that property, you've got to do it. And I make a motion, and I can't run out of this stage if we buy that property. We can't let it go.
Okay, now, you understand?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, from a value perspective, with the face value, I haven't seen the inside of it. It is in modern condition. I know it's going to need upgrades. I know that when that happens, it will cost twice as much as anything else we can imagine. But I do agree with Ms. Sanchez to a point. This is part of that business core that it would be a potential zoning change. I don't know that future land use would allow for that zoning change. It would have to be very, very limited, almost like commercial neighborhood type use. You have parking and other issues. You also have change of use, which could drastically increase the cost of renovating something like that. My issue with all of these acquisitions is buy first, figure it out later. We've had a lot of time to figure out what our basis is going to be for acquiring property and what our plan is and what is our litmus. Like it has to meet certain criteria to buy and meet this, and we should be able to look at these properties and say, yes, this works, not, let's just buy it and figure it out. I personally disagree with that. I don't think we have enough information, we have all of the resources to have those decisions made in advance. Does this property meet our minimum criteria for what we're trying to accomplish? This is our goal. If it's just spend money, get the thing, and figure it out later, I mean, that's just inefficiency in government. I just don't support that part of it.
Okay, anybody else before I change?
I would say this, like, just like the location of the property is in no way what's around it. Like, if you go up to it, there's some quadplex that Joe, you think about, hey, we need to acquire that. If we could start buying that property along with this house, we would build a nice affordable housing hub right next to Main Street in the park. So I think this is almost like the cornerstone of something that we can build around. So I'm thinking we buy it with affordable housing, within affordable housing. I like saying this idea like, hey, there can be some retail on the bottom. I love that idea. But then let's start acquiring, there's a house next to it to the south. And there's a quadplex to the west of it. If we can start assembling all of that, we will have a core area of affordable housing near the road. So I think this is a cornerstone.
One other great example.
No, we have one thing. We can't get too like that, that's what we can go around and do that and such a thing. Anybody else
other side, what is
It's
it?
right across from the school, that parking place. See the parking place next to the parking lot? You got a parking lot when you heading east, coming off from the power.
My main thing is, like I said, I brought, that, building with main course.
You got to take, like, if you get the main course,
That was that,
yeah, you got all around. That's a solid point. Right. If we acquire all that property, the whole, it could be all one.
I think that would be beneficial, because, it's not really following far around, with some of the business that I would like to see invest in this community, like, mom and pop breakfast. We don't have anything like that. People ask me all the time, oh, where do I go? I tell them they can tell me when it comes to information that a person not able to do at this stage is a lot of hip hop and pop. And everybody knows that. You know, Sunday morning, or Saturday morning, I'm not gonna go eat breakfast at a mom and pop. I do.
Okay, anyone else about time? Here's what I do. Okay. First of all, I just need to get up on this. Them suspects. We have already gave this CIA manager, the mass manager, a list of places we don't need to get quiet. Okay? Titus moved up to the front. That's my first suspect. I'm calling myself this president. Second of all, issue. We're gonna house on School Street. What the hell done happened there? We don't own that house on School Street. What's going on there? Why ain't they something done with that? We've been on that house for almost 2-3 years, ain't it? Huh? What's happening to the house on School Street? What is going on with it?
What's going on with
It ain't, is it affordable somebody staying in it? Well, then why don't we buy another one and we ain't even got the one that we own there? That's a problem with me. The other thing is that house, at 400 something, I go down there by a brand new. That house is gonna require a lot of repair. Guaranteed. I got my own 4-5 around here. 2 stories. I said, come back now, $400,000, okay? This stuff. The only thing I see there is one, I know that if we had to do like the sanctions, sort of put the sanctions night, that it'd be more of a commercial type thing. Because I tell you why, because we're gonna have a park come in, we're gonna modernize and do this thing. I don't necessarily need to try to get support. We have one affordable house in West Tampa, any building area in Tampa. That's the housing part right there. So this thing about we need a whole bunch of affordable housing, we need some businesses. We need some commercial development. Why we ain't buying that building up there on Main Street, the old Moses White, and getting that slum and black. This number ain't slum and black. That is slum and black up there on Main Street. That commercial piece that we missing. We got everything across the street from all the way from Main, all the way from Howard, all the way moving on the north side of Main Street. It's played modern night crime that is approved to do this building. Okay? That is a slum and black building. That is a major eyesore. My thing is to concentrate on commercial and get that over with. This affordable house, we got to get an affordable house. That's just a way to say goodbye. And we already contributed 1/3 of all our money for affordable house anyway. So my thing is we need to make sure we get our commercial piece in place. Because it's happening. You're going to see across from down on the house, 2 hotels. So we need to get the commercial piece. When we start talking about this philanthropy thing, it's a historical house that belongs to the man. CAC don't stay on. The bottom line is I just don't, and the one reason I don't agree with it, not that I would be by buying, because I know we can pick that house up and move it on another lot somewhere. Okay, if we want to pick that wood frame up and run it around the corner, find somebody with it, and then we can have a lot for commercial, retail or something else built there that'll be more compatible, okay, with that. So that's another reason I can see that, yeah, we can make this crazy long $500 million. It's going to end up being $800,000 when you ever get a turnkey on. Guaranteed. Let me finish. I gave y'all another 5 minutes. And so then, so one thing is I don't have an issue with it because I think that the house can be picked up and moved. But to try to force us to say that we need another affordable house, and we got an affordable house sitting on Spruce Street, and a damn thing happened to it. So until we start buying another affordable house, you tell me, when are we gonna get that one completed? What is the plan? And the reason it's like that, because we didn't have a plan when we bought it. And that house is relatively new. It's not an old house, it's on Spruce. So that's my beef with it. I mean, but I do whatever I want to do. But the thing, and I agree with Mr. Lucida, you know, you don't just go buy stuff because some mass made it, or because, you know, it's available. There's plenty of stuff available. Okay? But we need to have an end use. We need to have a plan that we're going to do this, and we need to have estimates in our hand of what the total cost will be to bring whatever you want to do, changing the zoning, changing the land use, making it a duplex, making it whatever. We need to have that in our hand, like Mr. Younger said. And otherwise, we're just going to be buying and spending money, and then it's going to be sitting there just like Spruce Street for another 3 years. All right, that's I'm back. Second round, it's going on, so whatever. This Sanchez had us, and then Miss Jones got us, and we're going to see what y'all want to do.
When I was trying to make, you need to buy the dirt. The location. Union and Albany, Main Street, that is part of what we hope that one day is going to be a business district. So the opportunity is, if we don't buy this, and I'm not the salesman, and I certainly don't, you know, somebody else is going to buy it, and they're going to rezone it and do something else with it. We have missed out all this time, as many times as we've asked them to look at different properties. For years, we've asked them to look at property on Main Street. Especially when you're talking about Night Spot, the property in Selena, and that. We have begged them to look at that and try to buy that for our business district. We have to start somewhere. If we don't buy this, somebody else is going to buy it, and they're going to find a way to tear down the house and do whatever they get rezoned for, if they can make sense. Because they're making this part of the business district. If we don't take the opportunity to buy this, somebody's going to buy it out there. That's my main thing. I really don't care if it's affordable housing, because like you said, we have enough affordable housing. I do care if the property is valuable for our commercial district.
This is Jones, and then come back to this side.
Yes, that's my issue. Like I said, we spent $10 million per building loan. That property between Richelieu and Ivy Canal, right there where the main course was, whatever it takes, that needs to be acquired. They said it was a foreclosure.
I have an update on that.
I'm not.
So here's the city's defense. We don't have a willing buyer, willing seller. They don't want to sell. And that's what they tell you. But then all of a sudden, they come this for $155,000 for willing seller. So they don't have a willing seller for the Moses Bank location. I mean, it's not really touching.
Well, we reached out. I have it in writing. We reached out to real estate and
Whatever, the city can do whatever they want to do, they want to do something.
well, we will. We would definitely. Well, a couple things. This particular, I'm familiar with her because we did set up the right on some
You have your mic?
Oh, we don't have a mic. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll try to. Anyway, bottom line is we do need a willing seller. We did reach out to her again. She just closed on a grant for a well, which it's in East Tampa. They did the 7th and Grove property on the 7th. So they have a good record of doing projects, good projects for Missouri. The latest she said, as of April 30th, when I got an email, she advised that they are applying for a grant for rehab of the structure, the West End of CRA, and is not interested in selling. It's in writing, it's public record, I'll hand it to y'all. That is where we're at with that property.
So why, okay, all right.
What is that?
So she,
It's on 2131
hold on.
Main Street.
Hold on. Now, so she's applying for a commercial grant. Then why she ain't on this list of
She is.
She just got added?
Nope, she's been on there. She went inactive.
So she's on the
And
list.
I think Ms. Jones brought it up last month, so why, let's talk about that
What's
property.
that address?
It's 2131 Main Street. It's also 2135 Main Street and 2135
as an example of nonsense. The city is purging people off this list. The whole thing is that if you ain't done something on here and all that, they want to purge me, because I went to set up a meeting, but when I said to this meeting, we supposed to have had a grant update, what they plan on making change. That ain't happened to end of July. So I told y'all they're not taking me off the list, or help on regulars, because this lady been on the list right there trying to purge people. We're trying to get the list down. Okay? That's what's going on. I know what's going on. I don't have an issue with none of this. It's just that let's be reasonable with this taxpayers' money and purchasing stuff and trying to use that equipment ain't gonna get it with me. Let's just say we're buying it for the purpose of future development in West Tampa, CIC. Okay, don't say because we don't know if the house would be the best use. We don't know if it would be a bed and breakfast would be the best use. We don't know if it would be an Airbnb would be the best use. We don't know none of that, and we don't have a firm commitment on what it costs to rehab it. And we know we got an R116 designation that ain't gonna fly. Okay, and we talk to everybody. I don't be talking about it. Y'all know that stuff. I'm coming up with it. All right, Mr. Lucia, let's say it again. Mr. Long. All right, Mr. Lucia, Mr. Long.
I just want to reiterate what you just said, Mr. Chair, is we have an obligation to taxpayers' money. I mean, this isn't just money that just fall from the sky, it seems that way. But using it irresponsibly is exactly the opposite of why we're supposed to be here. We want things to improve West Tampa. But if people are concerned about a historic structure, the worst thing we can do is put it in the hands of the city of Tampa. It's going to wind up like the Jackson House. They won't touch it for years. It's going to fall down. No one's going to have any input in it. We're going to be waiting around trying to figure out what we're doing with it. No, and it's just going to fall into disrepair. If it falls into disrepair, and it doesn't matter if it's not protected, that's a completely other issue, other than the fact that if we're just buying it for dirt, it makes no sense. No developer is going to buy this to tear it down. They would buy it to redevelop it. So if you want the house saved, you let somebody come in and save it and put it on the market and rent it. Because you can't spend $80 a foot on dirt and build homes. They would have to sell $800,000 to $900,000 townhomes and put 2 of them on the site to be able to spend $500,000 in return. The numbers just don't work. Furthermore, I know we need affordable housing. We definitely need it within there. On the commercial side, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but no commercial businesses want to hear that they're surrounded by affordable housing. It pushes them away because affordable housing does not have discretionary income. Businesses need discretionary income. So if you want Main Street to flourish, you do not want to surround it with folks that don't have discretionary income. And that's just hard truth. I mean, that's not, I mean,
Mike, I think we got I think we need to
They are not going to let it cross the bay. They're going to come in first, but go to Mr. Maloney, raise your hand, and go to you. And then they're going to fill us out.
Well, I'll yield the rest of my time, because I know that folks want to speak, but I can't reiterate enough how important it is to how they plan with this, because it's just irresponsibly spending taxpayer money. And by the way, guys, we're all taxpayers here. I just think a lot more thought needs to go into it in advance before we start acquiring these things without a lot of forethought. So.
All right, Mrs. Maloney.
I want to say thank you to everyone for the comments because I agree with nearly all of them. The only thing is that I would hate to see this building torn down or to see it lost. And it's a beautiful example of something that looks a little bit different. Looks like what we used to have in this neighborhood. Has an amazing history. I love the idea of moving it, you know, giving it a prominent, like, well-landscaped location and letting people enjoy it and see it. And I think I agree with you about the responsible use of taxpayer dollars for sure, 100%. But I also think that we need to exercise a little bit of leadership. I would hate to see somebody buy this and build $200,000 or $900,000 townhomes on it, and that's what's going to happen. That's what I thought too, but I've seen lots of things that are just like that. And I would be in favor of acquiring it just to preserve it, maybe to move it, and to certainly to develop it. But I think they're asking too much money. more like maybe 450 instead of 480. But that was the maximum price, and then we negotiate. But, you know, I'm just saying, I would like, what do you want?
I would love, yeah.
I know, I'm just saying that, I've seen enough development, you pick up papers every month and you pass them around about people applying for permits and stuff. I think somebody would buy it for 450 and go to townhouse or something.
Mrs.
No, I mean, that was I had the same concern as the street. It's like, before I buy a piece of property, I want to see comparables, I want to see a price per square foot, I want to see if it has that renovation, how much it costs. I want to see a lot of data. I mean, I know we have a recommendation, and that's good, but I want to see hard data because I want to feel comfortable with my vote.
Well, let me say this about comparables. I want to know that value of that house. But let me tell you, you might look nice outside, and inside is falling off apart. Don't say anything about that term. You know what I'm saying? Comparables with new houses built, that's one thing. That ain't no new house. And we don't know what the condition is, but it's not the city on it, and assessed it. They don't even have an appraisal for it. Do you listen to me? Y'all have an appraisal for the house? From commercial appraisal? And what is that?
No, right now, that offhand with me right now, but we do have to.
Can I get a copy of it? It's a public record.
Not until it's a negotiation.
But then y'all don't have a problem getting my story. Move around, anybody else is, okay, they will jump, they will up and down.
I just want to say this, you know, collectively, the feedbacks and comments already made. If I were the one purchasing this, I would like to get the information appraisal. I would like to know, I would have access to the building to review the structural integrity because of age. I mean, it is a good thing to fall in the hands of the Sierra, as opposed to other people. But since we have a course right, would it be expedient for you to bring those information back so that we can suspend?
We can ask the real estate department, they've signed to sell to the city, and come on and go for that, but we can't. We can ask for additional
Because
information.
the information will help us to make the wise decision, as opposed to, you know, making decisions blindly. And also with that, to sort of put a little bit of work behind the projection in terms of what we're using for, how we intend to use it. I would hate to have somebody else buy it and destroy the history. It has an historic value. I would like to maintain that historic value. That's the reason why, for example, Tampa has what the Johnson brought us to preserve it. Those are the two remaining scroll buildings that was, you know, in the 50s. So we don't want it to fall in somebody else's name. That's why having it preserved, we're not going to sell it for ownership. We'll use it for life ownership and gift shop within there.
But on that, all right, is there a motion?
There is.
No, there wasn't a motion yet, until we had the conversation, so is there a motion now? But I can finish. Go ahead. All right, is there a motion?
We can have a vote on that motion, that we acquire this property. There a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I have a
We have a motion by Bob second, and this discussion.
The discussion I have, again, back to what I stated earlier, I would like to have a backup information to suspend that vote and, or to do it when the information is.
Moving on.
No, we have a first right of refusal. That's what I heard.
Go ahead, like, vote that moving forward.
Yes.
So there's.
Now, what is it that you're saying? Because it's new.
Right
Do we have a
now,
contract on it right now?
yeah, they have signed, not.
So why are they even asking us? Just guys want to, the real question is if we want to fund it, they've already made a decision.
They, right, they don't have no money back. So they want to use our money back, some of them, they can afford houses, they look at our accounts, they got a lot of money to afford houses.
If y'all didn't want to afford a house, you could buy it as commercial. Do you have a line item?
Yeah, we have that.
Acquire it.
Yeah, but let me explain to you. Don't come here telling me that that line, commercial, you come here and sold this whole thing, from the line, that's what it says right
That's
here.
what it is.
Okay, that what it said, but see, that's what y'all said, that's not what this committee said.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so we're discussing what we think, y'all come to right, say right here. Strategic acquisition for the whole house. It should say strategic acquisition. And let us determine if it's affordable house or commercial. So somebody's already predetermined that it's gonna be affordable house. And I think we heard enough debate that it may not be, it could be a coffee shop, it could be a gift shop, it could be a whole bunch that which would be more fixing for that block that we're trying to get commercial, right? So, you know, and man, I told you, nobody wants to have affordable houses and don't have disposable income they can spend in them businesses. So, you know, but that's a motion on the floor. It was second, and is there a amendment to?
I would like to make an amendment.
Go ahead, roll call.
But I just say,
After this vote, I just want to ask for feedback or clarification on where we put affordable housing in West Tampa, meaning how urgent is it to this board? Because I am personally working the rest of my weight off trying to produce affordable housing in the Tampa CRA. So I just want to know, is that very important? Because when I look at every house, that's my first intention prior to this one, because I'm going to speak about it. Her and I can speak about the mixed component of having a coffee shop, having even a community center kind of aspect for the area. And again, you know, with what we are facing, which is affordable housing requirements, we have 30% mandated by city council to produce. So that's
We
what.
got your door over there. Look right over here at Long Yard, we got affordable housing in West Tampa. This is not East Tampa. We have mega affordable housing under construction, being constructed, and getting ready to get brick ground in July right over here with Wrong Yard. Boo-hoo. Okay? Boo-hoo affordable housing. Affordable housing is not some kind of home. Apartments are considered affordable housing, right, David? But it has a definition. If you're in an apartment, that's affordable housing. Okay? See, so let's not get caught up. You cannot solve affordable housing by doing onesies and twosies with individual $500,000 homes subsidized by all these different programs. Okay? So yeah, we want affordable housing, but I think the debate tonight is that that site is necessary for affordable because it's close to domain. Maybe somewhere down here in the periphery of the neighborhood might be some wood frame bungalows that might be more reasonably acquired and done. This one has I'm not required. What's the amendment? First of all, no, we have a contract, city has a contract, person department, the real estate department has a contract, but they didn't tell us when is the expiration date due. See, this is the nonsense. That ain't no secret. If I'm gonna put a because somebody's gonna give it up. Okay, so what I'm saying is when you come in here at this meeting, if you have something in the contract, tell us that the contract expires on a certain date. So it gives us an idea, is this an emergency? Is this gotta be done tonight? Or do we have time to get additional information we can think about it? Don't come here trying to force us with nonsense. Because I'm not gonna tolerate it, okay? I ain't gonna be here long. So my thing is, let's do it right. Okay, I think you heard the theories tonight, but that's the way it is. Okay, we need to make sure that people understand know what we're getting involved with and know what we're investing in. Not everybody's an issue with acquiring it. It's just the way it's trying to be sold to us. Like we don't know what the hell we're talking about. You got real estate up there, engineers up there, developers up there, amazing affordable houses. Now we're Tampa house, we don't know that. Okay, so don't disrespect our profession. Just like we don't disrespect the real estate department, person stuff. We bought $3 million down the street on Cypress. That was where we put affordable housing, a big investment. Closed the deal. I believe they closed, y'all got the things. We done some major acquiring of affordable housing. That's the way you do it. That's a large area, got take care of a lot of units. This ones and twos, you know, that's not the way it was like, something else happens to me. Anyway, what do you think?
I totally agree with you, Mr. Chairman, but my amendment would be that we move to acquire the property and that staff provide a report back to us with the various potential uses and the benefits of each before proceeding with any further action subsequent to sale.
All right, is that a friendly amendment accepted by you, Ms. Sanchez, to make a motion and allow you second?
I second it, and I just want to I think we need to have a honest conversation when we say affordable housing, because I think it has because we've seen it, like, the way I heard it used tonight was very disturbing to me, because it was like, oh, it's like strictly like folks who are on subsidized housing. We're talking about workforce housing as well. People who are making maybe six figures who cannot afford to live in downtown. Those people are included in affordable housing. So we're just not talking about people who like in the housing. We're talking about people who are making nice incomes but cannot afford to live in downtown. So when we say, like, you say like no one wants to like live next to affordable housing, I think like they have misconstrued what we're talking about.
We're talking about workforce housing as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, but like when I heard that comment, like, I don't think
I try to
but
be defensive, but the reality is, if you can't afford housing, you can't afford to run restaurants. And if you are running restaurants, you need to think about that and buy a house first.
But mine is like, the person is like, they want to live downtown, but they got to buy out or on Hollow Beach. Or like, but so they like, hey, how do you have that teacher, that firefighter, that police officer who wants to live in city of Tampa? Fine. But that comment like started like thinking the wrong way. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But I wanted to clarify.
You said the amendment that you made to your motion. Friendly amendment you made that we will go ahead and move forward, but they need to come back, staff to come back and report that they can use it. So what does you say to that? All right, so.
That we purchase the property and that staff report back on potential uses, pros and cons of each before moving forward with further actions.
And then we can add this to it in a timely fashion.
I just want to point out that everyone understands that we have to do something. It's going to cost us money to hold it. It's going to cost us money.
Look, the city already made the decision to buy it, not us. Okay, they're asking us to go to the city to buy. The city already made the decision they're going to buy it. It's not a contract. The city signed, listen to me. The city signed a contract to buy it. Did you just go to that contract? In writing?
In writing.
That's a contract.
The city doesn't sign anything.
No, but the city agreed to that.
No.
And they're bringing, we're at the step right now.
So the city ain't-
saying, do you think this is a good idea?
The city has a contract and other contract to buy.
Now, we are
So
not.
what do you have? What do you have from the buyer?
We have the seller agreeing to sell it to the city and signing that settlement contract. Nothing.
And that's it, right? What's the timeline? What's the timeline?
There is none right now. I mean, it's just, she knew, the seller knew that we're bringing it to the CAC. The process is for you guys to chime in, and you may say, hey, this is horrible, I don't do it. And we just, oh.
No, it's like I said, it needs to be within our control, but that's why I asked the question, do we have a most likely refusal? If we can come back with those information requested, then we're not in a hurry to be voting today, right?
Pardon me?
We are not in a hurry to vote on this today.
No.
Because
Y'all
there's
are
no
recommending CRA board acquire if you think it's a good idea. There's a long process before we.
But we don't know if it's a good idea, it's not gonna happen.
And y'all are asking me, saying, you know, where this, you need more information.
No, it's a good idea to acquire in that location. But then say affordable housing, we think it would be better for commercial.
You can actually leave that door open.
That's why I made the
You
amendment.
could, because you don't have to affordable housing, that's all, we're always looking
is that we go forward, and I can tell the city that we're interested in going forward to purchase the property, site the property, and then we want to follow up by staff on what the uses of the property would be before any action, before a final decision to go to the board.
Okay, before it's your report, okay.
You understand? But they didn't call us. Is there any new question? Okay, is there any discussion on that? Once again, none. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. See that, Mr.
Wow. All right.
Okay, move right along. See how this staff reports real quick. This is better something, I know it's okay.
I don't have anything further to report. Y'all have your regular, I said, really all of You've got a project list, you've got some grant list. We have Ms. Parks here if there's any questions about the housing report. Pardon?
6 minutes.
Ms. Parks is here for housing.
Oh,
Housing report.
Are you asking if there's ongoing projects?
We're going to go to Sarah. She said Sarah staff reports. And so if there's somebody has anything on any of these, she's asking now for the time to request. So go ahead and see. I didn't see that. I thought the same said that Ms. Jones and I still got from so let's go with the same.
On the projects report,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought Corey would be here, was working on the traffic wraps.
Yes, yes, he's coming next month. That's in play right now, the traffic
I know
rounds.
exactly what the problem is, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit.
Sure.
So we gave him some ideas for themes, okay? Music in West Tampa, bands in West Tampa, historic West Tampa, indigenous people. I'm not sure where that came from, and what we expect them to do with that in West Tampa, because they have their lessons there. And somebody wanted wildlife and flowers, okay? I have a problem because we did not have the opportunity to discuss those things, okay? And he presented them here, and apparently everybody said yes, yes. So there are 9 traffic wraps. So here's how it went. We had a meeting, there were 5 of us there, including the person that's gonna do the wraps, or the guy with mobility. We were showing slides of 12 different artists, okay? And then we were asked to pick a theme and tell us if we thought they were best, that they would be able to do something there. So out of the 12 artists, 9 of them were selected, okay? There's certain problems with it, for example, women in West Tampa. You cannot, they don't allow you to do licenses of any people. So we had to come up and be creative, so we thought about places like Orchard Street Bridge, Fairfield Hospital, you're doing things like that. It was really very complicated. And I wish we had had more to say. So we now, the artists have been selected, they've been given their themes. Now on June 2nd, we meet with them. They have 3 samples that they're going to give us. And then we'll go from that. It's moving quickly. I just, my own personal thought, and I understand they're just traffic wraps, but it is the very first thing that we're doing, that we're kind of showing that we're doing something. And I wish we had a little bit more input into it. You know, and when they said wildlife and flowers in West Tampa. Now let me ask you something, and this is very quickly. How many of you remember alligators in West Tampa? I don't. I remember chickens. I remember raccoons, possums. So I don't know.
And rats.
And rats.
I mean, monster rats. They told us they can't cross the bridge.
And trees in the backyard. But guess what, folks? We had to work around that thing because we approved it. Okay? So I just want to tell you, next time, you need to give it a little bit more thought and a little bit more detail. I think it's going to be okay working around being a little bit more creative. Like we thought we might put some of it into what we call education. Lake High School, your drum major, Dunbar, Just, and even old St. Joseph's School, you know, for some to show education. Women in West Tampa, we went for the whole, including the nuns at St. Joseph. So, I mean, the potential there for us to do something, the thing is, our themes were just a little, so we tried to pull them together, so I just wanted to let you know what was going on that project.
Let me see this, is there gonna be other traffic signals that will be needed to be read? But this is our first wave, so we have another
Are you
wave.
talking about the traffic calming girls?
It had to be within the CRA, there's nine within the CRA.
That's the only nine that we can do. Alright.
Okay.
Well, Ms. Jones?
Yeah, I'm still going back to, because I didn't get a chance to get an answer to the thing about the right property.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are we really trying to work with these people?
Yes, we've reached out to them. I've been writing from our real estate department to see if they're interested in selling, and then she's.
Well, I mean, we have grants and everything else, so.
Well,
some of
she's-
that's being offered to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the good thing about this particular property owner, she's actually participated in the grant program. They wanted to move forward at Moray for the well on 40th Street. So they have done good projects. So I think we should give her a little time to come forward and do something with that property and apply for a grant. So if the grant seems ready, and she is, absolutely.
Yeah, but the way Ms. Jones is that, as long as someone is making the initiative, like trying to at least get on our grant list, then we feel that they're doing something and not just sitting in the stand. So the fact that she's on the list, still on the list, that's one step, that's fine. But at least it shows that she's trying to make some progress to do something that's slumping back, building that area.
So we have no idea what you want.
Well, they,
I don't have
well, they
commercial.
came to us. I believe they came to one of our meetings and had told us what they want to do in 4 sections.
She said, pharmacy and all those things.
Yeah, but things change all the time.
Well, you, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to get.
But maybe
Maybe
we might want to ask
I
her.
have people in the community always asking questions. I can't answer.
Well, don't answer, just tell us, right?
No, I'm not.
I know what I'm saying is, what we don't know. What we do is, we say,
So we
Mrs.
got to come here and.
Right, what we do is, why don't we invite this right to come here to this meeting and give us an update.
I could reach out to her and ask her to come.
That's what I'm doing.
I'll see, yeah, absolutely.
Have a couple of updates and we can answer the questions. Understand? Okay. You done, Ms. Jones? Ms. Jones, you done? Ms. Jones?
Yes, sir.
You do? For now, okay. Mrs. I had Mrs. Singh, and then you, Mr. Clark. Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
I have a question about 3 different items on the Freedom Park. Freedom Park, yeah, I see where they're there doing work. But I guess I'm interested in more of a timeline. That property is languished for so long, it's like, what are you talking about in terms of when this thing is gonna be done and ready for whatever we're gonna do, the park, whatever?
We're talking about Freedom Park.
Yeah, no,
We're just going through environment. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Are you here? And I don't know about this park, I haven't seen, I mean, if this says that they're doing the work, I haven't, maybe I just missed it. I haven't seen anybody on site, but what I'm trying to get at is there any timeline for us to be at the point where we can issue an RFP or we're gonna work with parks and do a park or whatever we're ultimately gonna do?
Just so you know, next month, we are going to have a progress meeting here.
Okay,
Great
good.
parks, we can, that'll,
Yeah.
this is on the
And that's on that Freedom Park.
Yes,
What else was you say to Ms. Jones?
The other,
Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, the other is, last time we were going to get a legal opinion on whether we could fund the historic markers.
Yes, it's on this list too, and I'm feeling very confident that looks at your plan, you have a sign structure.
But we're just
figuring out your finding it, yes, that's
Okay, and then the other is, on our Main Street corridor study. Again, I'm anxious to get that going so that we can start making beautifications and other improvements to Main Street. So,
Okay.
that's number 8.
you want to.
You can make a motion for me to reach out and see if she'll come. I can't force her to come to the meeting.
I'm just trying to accomplish something,
But you don't need to make a motion, I'm gonna do it.
you know.
Make a
I'm not
motion.
gonna let this fly.
This is chair, take it again. I make a motion that we ask the right, owners of the Main Street building to come, give us an update on their plans. That's my motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Ms. Fetton?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you go.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's right, you can do that. I think we have to kind of be aware of the obvious. They need to keep the building up there, there's no doubt about that. But these people are not gonna redo their building until there's enough numbers there to support the renovations. I mean, if they're gonna put a restaurant, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna wait till growing yards, they're gonna wait for more folks in West River. When the population is right, they're gonna develop it. And, you know, we wish we could force them to do it quicker, but, I mean, David and Michael, you can chime in if you think
Yeah,
otherwise.
but West River, we have at least 1,100 units.
I think they're waiting for more, you know, for more saturation of West River and from Rock Yard before they're gonna do the renovation.
You have saturation of May, I mean, what is that, you get a saturation of May and also, gold. All that is talked about, right? So,
I think they're waiting.
like, what many more percent?
Let's do it.
All right, Ms. Sanchez?
All right.
Ms. Sanchez,
Are we finished with that one?
no, we're still Any further discussion? Oh, go ahead.
I would just say to that, if you don't ask, you talk about that problem. I said, you thought that they're not gonna make the move until one progress is made. Well, you don't ask, you won't.
I think we asked them, not just stating the obvious, I guess.
My opinion is, ask, like you said, treat that like you would say, don't you want to know about it.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr.
I'm done.
Go ahead, take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Okay, moving right on, anyone else want any other reports? Well, we gotta get out of here.
I just wanted to quickly mention,
Huh?
I have a report. The ground report. We're doing a doodle now. We have selected the finalist artists. And I drove by Alderman Main and it's reminding me that we have asked the city for a report on traffic at that intersection since they added the four-way stop instead of the light. They have the flashing light and they have the four-way stop. We used to have a stop and go light there. Albany and Maine. And we asked the city to please let us know.
Well, we haven't got back.
I was asking to see if they had any information about additional traffic and
We get a
incidents.
motion for them to do that.
Okay, remember this week, you want to report on accidents?
I just wanted to know if the city has encountered any problems with
Okay.
the change from the stop and go light to the four-way stop with the flashing light at Albany. I'm concerned about the children. I think they're very close to the school, and I would like to know some assurance that it's safe.
We were told though that they weren't taking it down, that this was a test to see if they should take it down. We had a lot of people that voiced concern because there has been people rolling through the stop signs, the flashing light wasn't working, and then there was a concern that maybe we should take the light down because people were not stopping at it, and then that's the last we heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a motion last month.
Yeah, they're supposed to come next month, June 17th.
Yeah.
There's an amendment.
Okay, so that'll be on the
All right, anyone else on that? We gotta get out of here. We already 30 minutes past our time. So, go ahead, Mr. Sanchez.
Document for Mr. Ross. CRA and CAC working to procure a consultant to design a future park. Is the CRA not going to have anything to do with that design?
We'll have the same part.
On this one?
Number 4,
Okay, what's the question?
The question is, it looks like the city is going forward to plan for design. I thought we had something, CRA had something to do with it. It says CRA staff working with your landscape architect and consultant to design the future park.
That's not design, they're selecting an architect to do a design. So they have to meet the score and rank the professionals to see who they're gonna get. That is not design.
Once they get
That's a
someone.
CC, that's a CC.
Landscape, we got to design.
You're not listening, no. They have to get an architect, a landscape architect on board first. To me, this is saying they're scoring the selection meeting for CC to select someone to do that. That is not designing, that's a selected company to do it.
We didn't do it for Ray Park.
That's a different approach. That was a design bill.
I'm just making that sure.
Yes, they're not designing, they said, to me, it says it's scoring meeting for the.
Design the future park.
Right, meaning they hire somebody. You understand, CC?
That would come back to CAC. Y'all would be involved. Once they get, we have to.
Be a design builder, be an architect, landscape, and then they would then start the process of design. Hold up. John, okay.
Did we include tree trimming in our budget?
Yeah, that tree trimming, and if they trim the tree, you don't have that, I would pray.
Talking about this Tampa program, and then we said we're gonna put a hall in a couple of things that gone wrong. That's been about 2 years ago. So city council last week, they talked about that they allocated money to East Tampa, East Tampa City, and they had something. So people call me and say, well, why can't we get our trees trimmed for everything? So that's what I'm
That's
asking.
part of one of the grant programs we got.
Part of the.
Okay, so are we gonna issue?
You have to know this bids, you gotta have to pay.
Yes,
These are the questions I get asked when I think.
yes, so we do have tree trimming. Just to let you know, the HRRP program has tree trimming component in it. But, you know, the council just passed the tree application. It's not just for East Tampa. So, you know, I just got that. So just contact me and I'll give you that application, for the best including HRRP. And we have to tree, I can give you.
All right, Mr. Brazil.
So, sort of in line with our freedom park discussion, I met someone over the weekend who is an engineer with TICO, and one of his projects is securing areas to put utilities underground. I think it's an important thing that we discussed, not tonight, but I think we should probably get someone from TICO to come in here and probably make this happen to explain about all the advantages, which are obvious. We have a wonderful, beautiful tree canopy, and as we all know from our recent hurricanes, the tree's favorite food is power lines. And as we have more and more storms over time, people in West Tampa, if they don't work with groups like TICO to get these things underground, they're essentially going to have a lot of power outage problems when there's storms, and they're harder to service, which means they tend to be the last to get repaired when these things go down. Part of that is using land and acquiring land that either the city owns or that is within the CRA, that they can put these small transfer stations that are about 5 by 5. It's not popular, but if we wait for TICO to try to buy them or it'll never happen. I think it'll be a benefit to the community to have underground utilities. You have almost zero interruption during storms, and the conduit gets laid in, it's no problem. It's something we probably should have done before we did all the streets and everything, but we're here, and if everybody is interested, I can make a call to that individual and see if we can send somebody to give us a presentation.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna have to bring the set of income to this meeting. That's the problem.
Well, and become a freedom park as a start.
No,
We need to bring this up to the projects team because it would,
Yes.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I recognize my civil engineer, Mr. Ramirez.
I got a couple of things, but
We are going to have to be out here.
to talk about TICO, they did come in very early on when the CRA was first established. We had just missed their work that they had, the project they had done, they did a lot of underground. We finished that conversation with anytime people are coming back into West Tampa to contact the CRA to make sure that we are involved with any kind of project so we can kind of team together and do something. I don't know if that's being done or not, but Ms. Brenda, you could check with their people contact. I think at the time we were talking to Ms. Washington, Jen Washington. That was like first or second year, so it was pretty good.
Because I remember Tico Survey walking the neighborhood, asking neighbors if it would be okay to put up box. I think that was post-COVID. So I think they've done some work.
Yeah,
It was like,
I think that happened. Because we were all right.
Well, because you guys.
we might get a good idea, but.
Okay, anybody else comment on the project, so we got to get out of here. I want to just get this thing out of my hands. This is the question.
The last thing I wanted to bring up was the West Tampa Riverwalk. Ms. Nina Manuel contacted me. She said that her boss told her that she's supposed to come in once a quarter to present to the CAC. I told her that I've been doing the updates. I don't think they need to come in, but if the committee would like me to come in, let us know. Where we are right now is they submitted 60% plan. We went to the comment. I submitted my comments. There's another phase to come in. They have to leave comments for. They're incorporating those comments. And they should be done with that June, July. And then they're 90 or 100% will be until the end of the year. So if you guys want the design team to come in and present, I think the summer, maybe next month or the month after that, will be a good time.
Yeah, we can help coordinate that, project coordinator on that one. He's some, so, yeah, so y'all, you can spend.
Yeah, so if the committee would like that, we can definitely move it.
Okay. Come on down, please. New business?
Yeah, we're going to.
On what?
We already did the money.
All right. New business? Yes.
I would like for, well, and I'll make a motion. I'm sure y'all have noticed, especially now that the paving is complete on Howard Avenue. I refer to them as ball outs, am I using the right terminology? But those things that stick out in the street that are eyesores. And unfortunately, they're full of weeds, they look horrible. These are our two main gateways into West Tampa. And I realize that Howard Avenue are county roads, but I would like to see us inquire of the county what their plans are for upgrading and maintaining those bulb outs and how we can work together with them and perhaps if we have to take on that project.
Okay, you put that in form of motion.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, nay.
Like these meetings and improvement of our
Most certainly.
No, I'm saying like work with the county around duplication, not just the bond, but everything else.
They were planning on a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we can't
All right, is the motion clear that we're just going on?
Yes.
All right. Any other new business? Okay.
Home yard, get up there on home yard, in July, in August.
Updated city, CRA plans about 5 different agreements, land use agreements that they had to have to get the shovel in the ground. And the other issue that they were having was the environmental, that they had to get the permit in that. But I was told that it should be starting, in July. We already see some activity that they can do before they get to the environmental. And that also Alex Cashman that was working with the leader, no longer working. So we got to find out, they who is out on point of contact. the Alex just let me know that he's no longer there. So I just take some guys, we can get folks washed. We have to go, you know, because the West Tampa CDC, CAC, West Tampa CDC, and this CDC, West Tampa, and CDC. These notes up, right now, Thomas Walsh. Yeah, but if you can get him, maybe come over here and update us on what's going on, that is not probably that.
There's an article in there, there's an extension or something.
Y'all have the same class on Friday,
Yeah.
West Tampa edition.
No,
Just for information, we got one copy. There's stuff about the program.
they were still, they ran and said they got the group.
We had time on that.
Right.
There's information.
Huh?
Yeah, we've got one.
All right, all right. Other thing, we go through this, last split, 3712 West Walnut Street, last split reconfiguration, 2 lots. Kelly Stewart, Frontier Communications, is the applicant, RS 15, 1318 West March Street, RS 50, the Plan PD, James Mascala, who signed 25 development, and his address is at 1313 West Main Street. Okay, 202 Rome, and application for special use alcohol beverages, beer, wine, and liquor, special restaurant, and it's Tyler Hudson, and Gardner Brewer Hudson, PA, is the applicant for that particular owner. Another application, special use, beer, wine at 1704 and 1706 West North B Street. Tyler Hudson represents the applicant, special restaurant. 1701, a application for use of special alcohol beverage, 1701. A Street, beer, wine, special restaurant. Tyler Hudson, it's a stack, I don't know, like,
Yeah, that's what the road collector, I think there were 19 of them. There's 19 little shops that they're gonna have.
Okay.
And the city asked them to go ahead and file a request for an 81 for each one, just in case they want to do.
Okay, and then at 1704 North B Street is also the one that is on there. And then I've got a notice of filing application for, it's 25 foot wide swell family detached on at 1948 West Bruce Street, John Malone. Is asking for a notice of filing an application, REC, 2501. Yes, can't read the 10 right. And then we have a 2132 West Commons, West St. Conrad, update elevations to 3 stories from 2 without close on the maximum height of 35 feet. An application for substantial change in view. Notice of filing application from RC and development over at 1320 West R Street, that's just a duplicate. And then there's one at 2302 North Highland, Tampa, Florida, from CG to PD residential single family attached at 2747 and 2741 West Green Street. Azam, and then the last one I have, two more. If one is an application for formal decision at 4307 North Riverview, is the address of the request. North Riverview Avenue. Split lots back to 60 feet, 60 feet, Michael Mauricio. The applicant address is 4307 North Riverview Avenue. And then, special use to find at 2504 West Pine Street. Subject property is currently zoned C in commercial neighborhood and is present vacant. Proposed special use of one request seeks approval to allow a single-family, semi-detached residential development on the site. Beside James Lascala is the applicant's name. That's all I have to give you this. With that said, next meeting is June the 12th at City Hall. That's at City Hall. The next board meeting is at City Hall. Our next meeting
just the field right there, or do you need the steps? The steps are there, do you need steps?